Portugal. There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Hola, bom dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show. Not a live stream today. We are recording, and we have the podcast, of course, as well. And the Portugal Club. Please join us at the Portugal Club for the best of service in this community, and not very much bureaucracy, I hope, to become a member of the Portugal Club, which some might say could be a little bit different when you're engaging with the society here in Portugal. And here to talk with me today about that and this subject of can Portugal beat bureaucracy, because that's what the Prime Minister seems to have on his desk at the moment, among many other items, of course, newly back in his position, having been re-elected. A headline: PM vows to cut excessive red tape, holding Portugal back. Is this just the usual sort of thing a new PM might say? Have they been saying this for years? Our dear friends Raquel and Nuno are here to talk to us about it. Here they are. Raquel first. Hello, bon dia.
Hi, guys. Hi, how are you?
Good to see you. Last time we spoke to you, you were not too far from Disneyland, Paris.
Yes.
A long time ago.
Yes, like years ago. Well, now I'm back in Cascais,
Right. Yeah,
still very nice.
Different kind of Disneyland, some might say.
Still very nice. It's still
Right.
chaotic here, so kind of Disneyland, yes, in a way.
And how are you? How is everything going in your world? How's Lighthouse Consulting? Still very busy, I take it.
Yeah, still very busy, thank God. Of course, now I'm trying to change the business model to where I don't need to be as present, because otherwise, it's just trading time for money, and I'm all the same on a 9 to 5. So now and as a great business consultant that I am, all my business model is wrong. So
a different talk to walk now. As you delegate and change the business. Having got it you had to do that in the beginning to get it to where it's got to, right?
Oh, of course. I'm always changing and adapting. I think it's adapt or die, right? So
Yep,
I have been doing that, and it's important sometimes to also stop and try to have a day or an afternoon to really just think about your business, like block those hours and just think about that business. Or sometimes you need the help of someone, like I've had with Margaret Malevsky, where she sat me down and we've thought about my business, because otherwise you're just so wrapped up in reality and the day-to-day life that you never end up doing anything. So it's really important sometimes to just stop, evaluate, and then get a new path. That's
very
what I'm
good.
doing.
Maybe Margaret will come along with you one day. She sounds like quite.
Oh, yes, she is quite the mentor, and she's like a very calm energy. So I don't know why I need that kind of stuff.
Well,
still haven't figured out. But
talking of
she
calm
is.
energies. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. You were going to say more about Margaret.
No. That's fine. So she's a great consultant. She can deal with several things, but she's very good at this. So analyzing, organizing businesses, and even life choices. So planning. She has like loads of experience in different fields. I would love to bring her on sometime. So let's do that.
A Portugal Club special where we can have other business owners to come and hear her wisdom. And I think you alluded to what some say, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Ultimately, there is no line between the business and personal life, is there? The great life lessons will be as applicable as they are in personal life as they are in the business life.
Yes, I believe that where you are, if you are real now, if you're portraying some kind of character, it will be different. But if you're real, as I am, the same person that has a sense of humor or says something silly on camera is the same person that makes my friends laugh and is informal and doesn't care about some things. But also then there's a very serious side, a technical side, when people ask me for opinions on legal things. And so it's pretty much exactly the same in my business. So I try to have a relationship model. I get close to people. It's a very interpersonal thing, because you really need to get to know the person. They need to trust you. But then there's a lightness to it, because I'm not like those old-fashioned lawyers on their hardwood offices filled with books and
And
with
those binders, the folders. Why do they always have to have those folders?
I don't
They
know.
can't possibly find anything, can they, in those piles of...
No, they don't. I think that's just for show,
Right, yeah,
if you ask me. And so I've always been kind of a combatant to, even when I was in the bank, I was like the only one that never had any books on my desk. Like I was like, why would I ever buy any books on laws? Because next week it's going to need updating. So it is. So I think it's just for status, and I've never been one of those people to really care about that. So, sometimes I have pink hair. I think that says enough. So, yeah, I think transparency and the fact that you're real, it goes a long way. And so the same thing happens with your life, things change. You need to reevaluate. Maybe you're not as happy as you were with some things. Maybe the 9 to 5 is not okay anymore, and so you change, and now maybe the life that you have right now is not enough anymore. You need to step up in some kind of way, and so you really need to reassess and just pause and get your groundings and your bearings, and then walk through your happiness path. And certainly what I've learned so far is that you can't care about what any other people think. You just do you, because they run their own house. You have to run your own. So they're not going to be the ones to hold you, or if you need groceries, they're going to buy. It's you. So don't care about anyone else's opinion, however crazy your ideas may be. Just go with it and just fight for it and do it, because at the end of the day, this is your life. And when you're 90 something, hopefully, and you look back, you will truly regret not doing things the way you wanted to do. And who cares what everybody else thinks, especially now. I mean, the world's going to explode anytime soon.
Thank you for that newsflash. But we get a sense of, I think everyone shares in that sense of excitement and drama right now in the world. And maybe that's absolutely right. And you touch on a very interesting sort of Portuguese personality trait there, I think, of you do you, I'll do me. And obviously that has its limitations and nuances. But I love that about Portuguese culture. It's like it's friendly but private. Let's smile in the street. Let's say hi to each other. I'll go live my life. You go live your life. And the interesting thing, I think what we're talking about today is when we need things from each other. And we're talking about when we need support from the government, because the government needs our support and asks for it on quite a regular basis. And it's a two-way street. And that's what we're talking about today, isn't it? That bureaucracy. You talked about calm presences. You talked about pink hair. The man who's joining us now, he's got a calm presence. He might have green hair today. Let's find out if he's still sporting the face paint and the green hair of Sporting's recent successes. No, everybody. Oh, yes. Oh, no face paint today. Maybe on the 31st of July.
Good morning, everyone.
No. I'm in red, but green inside.
Like a tomato, almost.
Yeah, it seems that my first time in the stadium, it was by about 2 years old. So my father and my grandfather, they did a very good job on education.
Yes, they certainly did. And to my surprise,
it shows.
We've got these 2 victories under our belts. I'm saying us. And there's another match between Sporting and Benfica coming up on the 31st of July. This is so just when everybody thought, okay, well, that's it now. No, there's another match between the 2 giants of Portuguese football. And this is the Supertaça, and it's going to be held in the Algarve and not in Aveiro as it has been previously.
Yeah, it's the game that initiates the season, the football season, between the championship and the one that won the Taça de Portugal.
Yes,
which it was Sporting both. So it will be to the defeated team in the Taça de Portugal that was Benfica. So this is why we'll be supporting against Benfica.
So, because Sporting can't play themselves. I mean, but that would be the ultimate fixture for Sporting fans, wouldn't it? We'll just play ourselves.
Play along, guys. We'll just watch.
Amazing. Well, good luck to Sporting. We've got T-Duck in the background here. I can see both stadiums from our new place, Sporting in the east and Benfica to the west. What a lovely situation to be in there. Quite amazing. T-Duck, have you got any questions about the subject at hand this morning, which is the big question: can Portugal beat bureaucracy? Let's do a quick check-in with you, Nuno, before we go there, though. Everything okay in your world and the world of insurance? How are you?
Yes. So a bit busy, trying to reinvent the business, a bit like Raquel. I'm very happy today because this night it was my last lesson about EI and customer experience and AI. So because as you know, I start my lessons about 11 p.m. and I end about 2 a.m. So every minute that I have to sleep, I take it like during the 15 minutes between lessons. Oh, I jump from the desk to the bed,
Wow.
sleep for the time, and come back to the lesson. So it was my last lesson this night. I'm very happy.
Congrats.
I'm going to have a normal life.
Well, that's an interesting place to start. And T-Duck, I was at CTT yesterday. I can report the bureaucracy is alive and well. I have to say, I had a useful experience with CTT. And that, of course, Raquel, is Portugal's original startup, isn't it? Back in 1520. And they're still practicing. And they're still alive and
they
well.
still haven't gotten any better.
Well, I think they might have got a little bit better, to be fair. We're doing a passport process.
Now there's no horses and stuff,
There's no horses. Some say there is still post-loss from the 16th century. But I was able to do a great signed for process to send an official document back to the UK. And CTT were great with that. However, my local little post office, it's like, now cartão. What? And they couldn't in this age of electronic transactions. I had to pay cash, so I had to walk away from the place down to the next multi-banker, which was empty of cash. It was good exercise. So thank you for that, CTT. And this is a thing, isn't it? Here in Portugal, the people say it's fantastic. Apart from the bureaucracy, you have to get used to a different way of doing things, and we all kind of know it, don't we? It's like I don't know, it's like some sort of long-suffering cultural thing. And then along comes a new prime minister, well, he's not a new prime minister. He's been re-elected into the same role after.
It's recycled.
He's been recycled, used, absolutely. And he is making the noises, cut excessive red tape. Because it's not a secret to anybody, is it, that some of the processes of life here are dogged by, the red tape and bureaucracy. And then we've got AI on the horizon, and I've said, as a matter of public record, I think Portugal will kill AI because it's going to be the ultimate test for the machines, and machines
they won't pass.
They won't pass it. So what do we think of that? Let's start with you, Raquel. Is this just a normal sort of saber rattling PR puff, that a BS that like somebody new in the job would say, or recycled in the job would say?
I actually don't think so. Okay. Because we have been doing it, whatever the party we're talking about. All right. In the past few years, there's been a lot of change and a lot of focus on the need to update, everything in the public administration. Of course, now when you have more of a centrist party, that is easier to implement because, of course, they have those thoughts more present, and so they're more bullied, let's say, by all the people with money, all the entrepreneurs and all the big companies. And so they're more pressured. And especially now, because a lot of people, as you've said, a lot of foreign investment is getting completely scared off and scared away because of these bureaucracy, because it takes 3 years to get something approved, because because it takes 1 year to get one freaking company approved because of one name. So I don't know if you know anything about that, but it is quite difficult to then get to the other stage in economic growth if some things are not taken care of. And one of those things is exactly the fact that the state or the government cannot be the thing holding you down. Okay, it cannot be the thing that impedes you to start businesses and build houses and stuff, because how can there be such a housing crisis, and then if you want to get anything approved, it takes 3 years? It's insane. It's mental. And in the past 2 years, there's been some things approved, and we all thought that it was going to get a lot better, because, for instance, for the deed, you won't need the license of usage anymore. But it kind of got sidetracked because of the banks. The banks still require that license of usage. And so, because of course they require everything in a pair of boots, as we usually say. So they want, the guarantee, the collateral of the property. They want your personal guarantee. They want your life. They want your oxygen. And so they want everything in the process of the house or whatever to be immaculate. And so, of course, there's things that are not immaculate, but that shouldn't impede that, I want to buy this house in any case, I want to do something with it, and let me do that. And so I think that this time there is a real effort and a real need and a real focus on everyone, not just Portugal, but outside of Portugal, looking in, telling Portugal, you better get your thing together, because if you don't start to help yourselves, we're not going to help you anymore. And so I think this can be, I'm hopeful, I'm always hopeful. I'm a hopeless romantic. I hope that this time there is enough pressure, and there's a different structure to the parliament, that it will, and the government, of course, that it will get things approved. If those things in practice can get efficacy is a different matter, but you have to start somewhere. So I hope that it will this time bring some difference.
I like the sound of that. Before we go to you, Nunu, for your answer, this is a conversation I had with somebody who's moving to Portugal. And when it gets into that gray area of like, well, should I start my company in Portugal, and the visa thing, and the bureaucratic challenges, the way they referred to it, this is someone who doesn't even live here yet. It was like, this is the price of admission. We know it's bad. We know it could be a lot easier, but we're prepared to put up with that because we know the lifestyle we're going to have in Portugal is amazing. Now, we all make that sort of allowance, don't we? And I'm thinking, well, okay, it's good that we do that and that we're sort of positive and proactive and practical about this. But wouldn't it be amazing if Portugal not only had this great lifestyle, but had incredible efficient systems that all the technology in the world now is pointing to as a possibility? And this is what this man said. He's a fascinating fellow. His name is Miguel Franco, and he brings together performance and coherence, like the boardroom and the racing track together, bringing mindfulness to motor racing and using that as a metaphor for business development. He's on his way to Portugal and he'd like to do some business here. This is what he was told.
It's also a challenge, because I've been talking to several people there, some consultants, to figure out, how do I do business in Portugal? Yes. And the consensus today, in fact, half an hour before we start this, I got an email from one of the tax consultants that I talked to last week. And basically he's saying, keep your LLC there and come over. That's it.
Well, you know what? After my experiences of trying to start a business here, I would have to agree with that. I hope it changes for me, and things may change for you. But I mean, the Prime Minister has threatened to tackle the bureaucracy, which is part of the problem. He's been told to forget it, hasn't he? Basically, now that's insane, isn't it? Like as a country that is talking about economic regeneration and being at the forefront of things would say, Please come, bring your business with you. It's like he's being advised to no, stay headquartered in the USA and just see how it goes over here. No, what do you make of this?
Well, somehow we are, I should say, a bipolar country because, yes, because we are very early adopters regarding technology, very
Yes.
early adopters, just
Yes.
right away and we make it happen. And simultaneously, we are still grounded to old-fashioned ways of doing things, or so it's not easy because then yes, there are people willing to broke this barrier, but there are people that want that everything stays as everything was.
Was.
So, nevertheless, the technology and the world pushes to and led us to go forward. So I have no doubt about that. This will improve, will go better. What I don't know if is the rate of the improvement will be enough to make us more competitive as other countries. Basically, this
Okay.
because we have also other point against us, which is in all the mess where no one can handle it, Portuguese people solve the problem. So
Yes.
we are used to, this will happen no matter
We'll get it
what.
done somehow. Yeah.
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 So we delay and we postpone the big decisions because we know that these will happen.
The
Desenrascar.
Exactly.
Desenrascar.
will come and save the day. I mean, when you see, like, we've just had the Sant Antonio Festa here, 10 days, and when you see how Portuguese people can put up a village in 2 days to have a party, you're thinking, my God, that same energy in business and in entrepreneurialism, and if that meshed at the highest levels of society, it'll be unstoppable, wouldn't it? It'd be incredible.
Our biggest problem is not that we are not good. Our biggest problem is that we are not efficient at all.
Okay. All right. And so all the bits are in place. That's what we seem to be saying here. The components are fine. The technological know-how, we can do that, as we've proved with projects like, MB Wave, Multibanco, Via Verde. When it happens well. The people are ingenious, hardworking, and industrious. But putting it together quickly enough, Nuno, you seem to be saying is the challenge for us. How would that happen though? How could that be changed, or how can that be assisted?
Leadership.
Okay. Yeah.
We need leaders.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
about
Okay.
this.
Okay.
Because Portuguese people that went to Germany and France, they are recognized as very good workers. So
Yes.
when they are led,
Yeah.
they are very efficient and they are very good workers. So
Yes.
if they are good out of Portugal, why they weren't good before in Portugal? And for
Yeah.
me,
Very
it's
interesting.
a question of leadership.
So, and then we hit a wall, don't we, Raquel? That the leadership you might imagine would come from the government, but people are very cynical about the government, so they don't want to be led by people who they're very suspicious of. So it must come from the private sector, not the public sector, presumably, this leadership.
Yes, I think there's a huge gap, and when Nuno talks about people that immigrate and go, they're the go-getters.
Yeah.
They're the people that will not get stopped. They will work their bums off, and those are the go-getters. And the go-getters inside Portugal are the entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Because they have to be crazy enough to be entrepreneurs in this country, because they cannot they can't be sane to want rationally to have a business in Portugal, because they know it's crazy and they know it's craziness. I think one of the biggest issues, if not the biggest issues, is the people working in public administration.
Yep.
Because they're not people that are adaptable. They haven't been forced to adjust. Anytime that there's any type of pressure to evolve. You have people on the street screaming that that people have to have their jobs, and it's very hard. It always reminds me of the sloth. There's, I don't even know what cartoon is it, but the sloth that,
Zootopia.
like,
Zootopia.
exactly, that takes
Yes.
like half an hour for to hit the keyboard. And that's the real thing, that's the real issue, because then you have the will and you have the orders for things to work correctly, but then when you get to the people that are putting their hands in the dough, as we say, so getting their hands dirty, they just are not motivated enough to do anything. They are not motivated. They are the people that didn't want to be in a private company because they didn't want that pressure. They didn't want to be forced to grow. There are people that are, accommodated in the fact that they have a completely safe salary. And so they really don't need to do that much, because however less they do, they're still going to earn their money. So there has to be a way to motivate these people. Either, I don't know, we have to like have a think tank to think about how we can motivate these people, because if we do that, then the bridge is there and there's no gap and we can get things done.
Yeah.
But if we trip on the last step, those thingies that we all get in a line and then they all fall together. What is that called?
When you're queuing up in the bureaucracy.
No. The domino pieces that you get all
Oh,
together,
yes.
and then
Yes.
so if there's a gap there, which is, I
Oh,
think,
yeah.
what is happening now between the government and then the people or the private sector, that gap where there's no domino pieces is freaking public administration, people working. And there's like a million or some stupid number of people working in public administration. How can you justify 5 or 10% of the people in the country be working in the public sector? It just doesn't make any sense at all. So I think that that's the key. You have to have that domino piece. Otherwise, it can be great, the idea. People can really need that, but if there's no bridge, it's not going to happen.
What comes to mind is a car that won't start. You're turning,
Yeah.
spark is there, isn't it? And the fuel is in the tank, but the bit of technology that actually starts the engine and makes it move forward is missing. You make a very interesting point, and I think this is possibly one of the criticisms of of socialist societies at their worst, in a way, is that you do have a kind of bloated public sector that has a relationship with the government, because the government kind of nods to the public sector workers, doesn't it? It's like, we can rely on your votes. Yes, you can, but we won't make your life too difficult. Yes, we won't make your life too difficult. And it becomes a relationship, doesn't it, between the government who take the taxes, who pay it to the public sector, and then that becomes a bit of an unholy alliance, which is okay if it's a win-win for all of society. But if it's only a win-win between those two parties and the entrepreneurs and the what some might call the true driving force of a society in terms of enterprise is impeded by that relationship, that can't be a good thing. And I looked at the the definition of bureaucracy: system of government in which most of the important decisions are taken by state officials rather than by elected representatives. That's the problem, isn't it? You see, because when you elect a government, you think, okay, the new government is threatening to kill red tape, but they're not the ones who are going to be killing it, are they? They're going to go back to the people who actually do the red tape
Do
and
the
say,
killing.
yeah, that's right. And those people won't necessarily, they don't need to do anything about it, do they? Because, as you say, they're clocking in and clocking off, and it doesn't really matter until, Nuno, and you've mentioned it this morning, AI comes along, because there's a crying robot that is trying to change bureaucracy here in Portugal. It's my worst case scenario for the machine class. But in your study of AI, Nuno, are you seeing the possible threat to our systems of bureaucracy and administration in Portugal? And what do you think of the chances of it being revolutionized here in Portugal as a result?
Before answer to that, let me say that we have a department, a public department, very efficient, unfortunately, tax.
It is
So,
finances.
yes.
Too efficient.
Their job.
Too efficient.
Very good at their job. Yes. Good morning to you all, by the way. Busy working. They're busy working.
Yeah. Regarding AI, oh, but by the way, they reached that point hiring a guy that was known as being very efficient through the private sector. Okay.
Right. Yes.
Now, regarding AI, it's an amazing and then scary world.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. It really is. When we start digging and discovering the what we can do with that, it's completely crazy, and it really is amazing and scared. But it's the future. So if it's the future, don't fight against
It's
this
there.
big wave, because it's like nature. Nature always take what nature wants to take. So AI will be a big part in the business, in the public administration, in our daily lives.
Yes.
So embrace. For example, I don't know why people keeps Googling. The majority of the times you can change Google for whatever, just asking for AI to AI.
Yeah.
Okay, so people needs to be educated about how AI can make our daily lives, professional lives easy, because it helps a lot, a lot.
No question.
So if AI can help, yes, it can help, but people needs to be educated. And what seems that happen on public services is that if someone start showing up, it's the clever guy that we need to start bullying.
Yeah.
So let's see.
It's okay. It's a let's
I
see.
don't, yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
don't.
mean, good luck to
It
anybody.
depends.
Yeah, it depends. It's good luck to anybody who's going into the administration with some new AI ideas, because I understand the human side of that. People want to keep working. They want their jobs. Their lives depend in many ways on their ability to have a job, earn money, and look after their families. I really get that. So the conversation has to include that, doesn't it? It has to embrace that fear and say, look, there are inevitable changes coming our way. And we need to be on board, and we need to figure out a way that works for all of us. Having a kind of fight with it isn't going to work, I don't think. Thank you for that, Nuno. And this will be a conversation that continues. A final word to you, Raquel, because we need to go to work, don't we? It's 9 o'clock. But what do you make of this? Talking to a lot of entrepreneurs, suffering at the hands of the bureaucracy. How do you rate AA's chances of revolutionizing how things are done in Portugal, and supporting what the Prime Minister is trying to bring about, which you seem fairly positive about?
It's going to be really tough. It's going to be really tough because you will get to replace a lot of people. Now, I think if you convey the message, instead of I'm extinguishing, 2,000 jobs in this sector of the administration, and if you shift that to, okay, we don't need as many people here, but of course we still need a lot of people, managing hospitals, managing bureaucracy anywhere else, managing, there's still a lot. We see it in the public administration where there's a lot of people missing, because you see there's like five tellers, and for example, so you need to just reallocate these people. There's places where AI cannot substitute people, and it's these places where these people have to be relocated. And if they can't adapt, then we have to just pay them their money and they have to go their own merry way. But we really need to take a chunk out of the public administration people and make a huge saving with that. Of course, the first years is going to be pay severances and stuff, but then it's going to be a huge saving, in not only in economical way, but in an efficacy. Exactly. So it's huge. The difference is monumental. And so I think we just have to frame this in the right way for people to not fight it, not have the urge to fight it, and actually have fun, embrace it, learn about it, and see how that can profit them. Because if that can make their life easier in any sort of way, then it's good. I always say that AI should like do the cleaning of the house or whatever, and and not paint the paintings. It should be doing the stupid things that I don't want to do around the house. Not things that artists can do, like not videos and editing and all of that. But if people are aware that this is something that they, like it or not, it's going to be present in their lives, they have to adjust, they have to adapt, and it can be a good thing for them, then I think there's a possibility. But there's going to be a fight, certainly, on part of the public administration people, because there's a lot of jobs that are going out the window for sure.
Yes, yeah, it's interesting. I guess in 2 words, it's whether we're going to take a finances or a festa approach to this. If we approach it like a festa, we know we're good at that. If we approach it like finances, it's like, oh, pain, and difficulty. Wow, so good to speak to both of you. And I think the way things are moving, by the time we speak again next month, we may smell some rubber having hit the road with this development, mightn't we? And seeing how things are changing in society. So it's one of those conversations that I think could change within when we speak now and when we speak again. So have a great day at work today. Thank you so much for being here. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. Ciao, ciao. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Obrigado. Até a próxima.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Mate, very